All right, guys. So we're just going to show you putting in the transducer, kind of bolting it down up here, and then actually bolting the bracket itself to the hull here. So inside the box, bracket and all that stuff is in there. I also have just instructions to just go through. Shows a little tool list and the exact instructions I'm going to show you right here, but pretty self-explanatory. But there's the odd little thing that someone may know, and it's useful either watching the video, of course, or actually reading the instructions. So a couple little things that I can show you now while I can zoom in here a little bit more. These little the actual little locating marks here. So if I zoom in here, you can actually see just right there, I have it cut into the side. Little tiny mark there. I don't know if you can see there with it focusing not, but what I was saying, just line right up across it like that. And it's kind of your visual reference. You know, there it would be out, but when you have it there, you know it's perfect all the time. So that's just one little thing I incorporated into this thing. And then the way the grommet slides, it's actually got a slot cut in it. So you just put that around the cable, and then that's just going to actually go into that hole for the management of the wire. So first thing, you undo everything. Take the center spacer out. Everything just fastens right together there. Set all the pieces to the side and start with the lower bracket and your transducer. So you're just going to line it back up. You get your hardware and the little lock washers that you previously used. And I'll just skim through this. I recommend putting everything loose fit down first, and then once you get all the hardware in, the 6 little stainless steel screws, machine screws, once they're in, then you can actually screw them down good once you get them all in. So quick put these on. Oops. Just kind of small and fiddly here. And got the lock washers. Some of the lock washers are still attached from before, so if you don't see me put them on here, that's they're already on the screw. They did not come off. You just take your Phillips screwdriver and start them up. And yeah, just tighten them down. You don't have to go crazy. Definitely, you don't want to do anything to those inserts that are there. But you know, you can tighten it down. You know when they're tight. So just don't put like make them too crazy tight. Just down until they're good and snug, and you go from there. So you can see the other holes there would be for the LSS 1 and 2. The transducers on those ones are a little bit different themselves, so they actually bolt further out onto the bracket there. And again, the slot here was just for, on a 3D structure scan transducer, for where the actual cable comes out of the transducers, right in this area. So just sits like that. It's bolted down. You're good to go there. Next step is pull the grommet out that I was talking about. And then basically you slide the bracket in. And then you put the centerpiece in, and you just kind of, and nut ways, you can go either way, whichever side you want the nut on. I find that I always have the bolt part facing the motor, so that it's just easier to work on with the actual nut on the outside of, facing the outside of the boat. It's kind of hard to do balancing this up. Let's get that started. Slide the spacer in, through both sides, comes out, then put your washer back on and the lock nut. Just put it down far enough for now until you get to the point that the the actual nylock lock part is starting to touch. So this time, just put a little bit of dish soap, like I was saying. Doesn't take much, just a little tiny drop there. And all that's going to do is lubricate that nut and bolt and prevent it from the actual thread galling. So now the next one is you take your washer, you can put a little bit of dish soap on it also. Or some guys just throw it in their mouth and get some saliva on it, get it wet. Really only needs water for that. But put it around the actual cable, just like this. And then what you do with the slot, I always have the slot facing the back, is you just position that in, put it into the groove, and as you're going through the first part of the hole, it's actually going to pinch down a little bit, but that's good. That puts resistance on the cable coming out. So what actually happens here is you can see once the grommet's in there, you got a bit of room, but everything, the cable can actually move up and down. You know, the bracket can do this without actually having any chafing or anything on the actual cable. So if something were to ever move or whatnot, that's good there. And yeah, it just goes like that and works good. So it's a bit loose right now just because you just lubed it up with the dish soap, but once the dish soap works away, once you get in the water, everything, the rubber will actually hold back down to the stainless steel better. So that's pretty well it. Leave this loose until you actually get it mounted up, and away you go. So I'll take you down below onto the actual starboard now and show you the actual install onto the boat.